As opposed to a public library, the location and placement of books in a residential home library from an interior design standpoint is really all about making it aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes we will organize books by category, which is an input from a client, but I don't feel that's necessary because, again, they're colorful, they're different sizes, there are different ways of organizing them. I think the last thing I would do is to line them up like again, this you probably don't ever have never experienced because you're too young, but the encyclopedias that everyone used to have in their homes used to be lined up in some very prominent place because it was a sign of prestige that you had a complete set of the encyclopedias, all right? I have one set of books in my library that I do have lined up because it's the complete work of Will and Ariel Durant, who wrote the history of the world. And they wrote them in a location not far from where we're sitting right now and spent their entire lives writing this set of books. And they're beautiful. And I found them in a location of a bookstore where you can buy books by the foot for those people who don't have books in their library. And it was an unbelievable find on my part that I got them for a very, very small investment, and I value them greatly. And also, I think if you looked in my library, I have books sometimes laying on their side, sometimes they're stacked with things on top of them, little objects of art, find little things that I have found that I like. Some of them are actually leaning, so they don't all look perfectly lined up. I got that idea from my friend, or would-wannabe friend, Coco Chanel, who always said that nothing should be perfect. And so that was my way of kind of honoring her with that. I have lots of little photographs of friends and family, little objects that people have given me or I've collected as I've traveled around, or things that I just see that I like. I actually have Harry Potter's wand on one of my shelves in there. So yeah, in the kitchen I have cookbooks interspersed with cooking items like bottles of olive oil that are very pretty also and go along with that whole idea. Baskets of fruit with books next to them or stacked on top of them. There are untold numbers of ways that you can be creative when designing a library or using books in a space with just a little thought for it. I've seen actually in some locations where some people have taken books and they've covered every book in a book cover of the same color, like white, for example. I saw a beautiful library where they had covered every book with white book cover, and all of the accessories that were interspersed in them were white porcelain pieces too. So you had this beautiful bookcase that just had this total white look to it. You couldn't tell what the titles were, but you knew there were books there, and you knew that was important, and it was really nice. So it's an opportunity beyond belief to be creative, and it's something you should really invest time in doing correctly.